My dear viewers, beginning today is the official Alliteration Gaming Patreon and channel members. Throughout my Patreon, we've got quite a few tiers you can check out in order to gain special perks and even commission videos that you'd like to see me upload onto the channel. Every tier includes a shout out on my supporter card at the beginning of all of my videos, along with the benefits of the tier itself. Following that, you can now also join the Alliteration Nation by becoming a channel member on the YouTube side of things. Pledging your subscription here as a member of the channel is going to grant you the same shout out on my supporter card as all the Patreon tiers do, as well as access to the members only channel on my Discord. You'll gain a member badge that will level up as you stay subscribed and access to my exclusive emotes when I stream on YouTube. If you're interested in checking out the Patreon, I'm going to have the link in the description and in the pinned comment down below, as well as the link to my Discord should you want to join that as well. And if you want to become a channel member, the big beautiful join button is front and center on my homepage right here. And if you do decide to support the channel in any way whatsoever, know that I am unimaginably grateful, and I can't wait to provide you with even more top-notch content at my trademark top speed. Now, let's get on to the video. Welcome my friend to another Alliteration Gaming video. My name's Levi, and it's that time of the week again. It is Wednesday, which means it's time for some wealthy aspirations, like our little bit of alliteration there. In the event that you're new to the channel, every single wealthy Wednesday we go ahead and we check the entirety of TCG player, go over set by set, rarity by rarity, and look at the whole secondary market for any interesting price fluctuations, buyouts, and those sorts of occurrences. This is a recurring series, so if you want to check it out every week and all my other MHA CCG content, hit the subscribe button down below. But without further ado, let's get right into the market watching. First off, Heroes Clash, Secret Rares, and Chrome Rares. Chrome Rares still don't really exist on TCG player except for this one Eater right here, which this isn't really like a real price. I've more so seen like them go in kind of in the realm of like 1,000-ish, anywhere between like 700 and 1,500. I've seen ones that low and that high before, but it's a very, very volatile market, and they're only going to become more and more scarce, so by no means take my word for it. Chrome Rares are a crazy price situation. And then for the Secret Rares, things are substantially less crazy. $6 and $8, and nothing really to see here. For our Ultra Rares, Piercing Needle really coming all the way down, man, from $5 to $10. I mean, not like a massive number in the grand scheme of things, but I mean, it is half its market value, right? And then the other URs are just super duper cheap. Really nothing wild going on here. Still tons of them in stock everywhere. We're not going to see these numbers change anytime soon. Then going into our XRs, our XSRs are, man, dude, Aggressive Clash just gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. I mean, Heroic Clash has like started seeing a couple play and like a couple real decks, but still weird that it warrants such a massive difference between the two. Piercing Needle, Azure are pretty reasonable, but also respectable prices. The Starter Deck XR big cards are still gonna be pretty expensive. One listing at Quick to Act, 15 is not even a bad price for it, to be honest. Toru 2 XR character, only one listing left at 20 is pretty scary. Freezer Burn still pretty non-existent. This is a pretty still quite the buyout price for this one, honestly. I would definitely wait before you try to pick these bad boys up. Stun Grenades for 14 is pretty reasonable. These are super duper cheap. 12 is a great price for this. This is a fantastic card, and it's a starter deck one of, and it's XR of it. Yeah, all day. $12 for these all day. And then everything else is pretty reasonable on this page. One with Natures are coming down. These other starter deck XRs are coming down. We've got some of our cheap XR URs here and there, and then our characters start to get really cheap down here too. I guess Toru 2 is just the outlier, man. Can Toru, can you teach the other guys how to be $20, man? Because that is a crazy daisy price. Nothing too wild going on here. Some important kind of noteworthy things. Easily Excited at $7 is an absolute steal. Press Conferences at $8 is also an absolute steal. Other than that, most of the things on this page are just kind of tech pieces, and it looks like we really quickly entered the tech piece territory, but there are still really good pickups here. I think Uppercut for $5 is super duper cheap. Basic Training's back in stock for $5 is also extremely cheap. These for 50 cents is a total steal. These for 40 cents is a total steal. Fastest Flame doing as starter deck XRs do and getting a little swifty with it. Male Bondings for $2 is really good. Same with Friend of Animals. This card is getting a lot of stonks as we go into set 4, man. Just some really good tech pieces here. Coping with number 1, also kind of being a starter deck card for just a little bit here. I mean, $5 is still a pretty reasonable price for it, so not the worst last pickup in the world. Proud Sound here at $1 is also some really nice tech. Grenader Bracers, this is a really solid card. Recovery Time, it's beautiful full art, man. card sees a ton of play, and honestly, not nearly as much as it should. You guys should be putting recovery times in your decks, man. This card's very, very good. Then just a lot of other nice little tech pieces. Carbo loading's great. All worked up is great. Command pigeon flock is great. Influence in the youth is great. Just a lot of nice tech here and there. Stare down is like $6 randomly for some reason. Overall, really, really quickly, we enter this tech piece territory, but set 3 has a lot of really, really good tech pieces, man. Closing in for $2 is not bad. Blue Flame Palm Strike for $2 is not bad. A lot of these are really scary pickups. And there it is, guys. There's a snack time buyout that we've all been waiting for. Well, maybe not waiting for, but that we've all been anticipating. This card's crazy, man. If you didn't have your XRs of this already, oh man, it's gonna be a rough road from here on out, because this card is absolutely insane, and it should not have been $1.61 for so long. Only one listing on the USJ is kind of interesting. Bench press is coming up a little bit too. That's another one to keep an eye on. Again, evil symbol stonks, guys. Set 4 is looking mighty nice for the evil symbol, and you gotta keep an eye on all those evil tech piece XRs, because they can get you bought out of nowhere. Everything else on here is kind of just $1 going forward. Now we're in like the super not relevant tech piece bin, but a lot of really nice pickups across there. Going into our promos, these buy a box promos with the babes on it are still absolutely insane. The ones with the boys on it are a little less insane. $5 for Irrefutables is actually crazy, man. You should snap these up if you don't have them. This is an amazing price for such a beautiful card. Seize the Advantage is expensive, as it should be. One of the best cards in the format. Chivalrous is also very expensive, as it should be, countering one of the best cards in the format. And then from there on out, we have some like decent $1 or $2 promos, but really nothing super duper wild. The buy box promos, Season and Chivalrous, are still the most noteworthy promos from set 3. Going into set 2 now, Secret Rares, again, still super duper cheap, nothing to write home about here. Ultra Rares, interesting developments going on here, actually. Excited for Blood coming all the way down to $13 for the UR is wild. And then Double Jab all the way up to 10, man. This was, hovering 4, 5, 6 for a while. This might start to be the beginning of the come up, People realizing how nuts Jiro is post ban list, maybe. I mean, Double Jab is just a great card overall. If you're ever playing charges, you're just playing that card, right? It's fantastic. Then into the XRs, the Excited for Blood, actually the XR, right? Holding the $25 price point, which is really interesting. Got some nice characters here with Dabi and Toga. Got some nice ones on the high value targets, the howitzers, the double jabs. This is now a great price for XR double jab, considering the regular one is $10. Speaking of $10, a bunch of our $10 characters here, a lot of our more niche characters falling a little bit lower, some nice tech pieces, struggling and ice gliding, amazing pickups as well. If you're a water symbol gamer, you should have those playsets, man. You should have those playsets. Surviving the finals too while you're at it, because they're just so cheap. Kind of like everything else in set 2, really. We're pretty much already in crazy tech piece territory. Knife Slice, this is still an amazing pickup. I don't know how this has been $3 for so long. I guess because there's just so many of them, man. But God, just look at those symbols, look at set 4, and then pick these up. It's just a no-brainer. League Interview is not a bad pickup as well at $3. Same for Challenging the Fakes. Same for Graceful Maneuvers. These go from non-hollow to hollow, which is pretty nice. Not much else to say on the rest of this page. Netgun Surprise and Floating are also okay pickups. Again, they go from non-hollow to hollow, so they're a little bit noteworthy. But for the most part, just a ton of these X-Stars still don't look very different at all. The rare XRs are hardly worth picking up. Unexpected Hero at $2 is pretty nice. That's some other solid tech. Half Hot is also good tech. Tape Stream sees a little bit of play. That's really kind of like scratching the bottom of the barrel here with a lot of these set 2 cards. Just not a ton of relevant stuff here, and stuff that, like, hey, if it becomes relevant, it's 20 cents, right? How much more expensive? It's 20 cents with 40 listings. How much more expensive could it possibly be bought out for, right? Going into set 2's promos, we've got some normal expensive things going on here. Our RLEs are just looking as solid as ever. These are just going to hold value till the end of time, really. Looks like the Gen Con Meteors are starting to run out a little bit, maybe. Cheerleaders have returned to normalcy a little bit. I mean, as normal as a really solid RLE promo can get, right? Student of the Arts are starting to dry up, even maintaining that 15 price point. Manly's for 15 is also a really good deal. If that's one that you've been like on the fence about for a while, keep that $15 price point in mind, because that is a really good price for them. Villainous Waylay is $8, which is super respectable. Again, a lot of the provisional promos have calmed down after the Run of Store Championships. Really good stuff for the game there. Floating Around My Baby is a new training method, carrying that momentum from last week as the Nats promo buyouts, man. Those are honestly still solid prices for them, but not nearly as solid as $550 and $473 was. Those were really nice prices for those Nats promos. Even Choosing a Hero Name is coming all the way up too. Definitely not a card that sees a ton of play, but it does look good, and there are a limited number of them, so that's always just something that you got to keep in mind. Then going into set 1, our secret rares are really chill actually. Nitro was like teasing 25 and 30 for a long time, but it looks like it's calmed down all the way back to 20. Same thing for 5%, which is really where these should be. Love to see these super respectable secret rares. For our ultra rares, it's pretty much same old by the looks of it. Heatwave is doing its thing. We have like Ice Storm, Texas Smash, and Evil Gaze holding decent prices. After that, things just get obnoxiously cheap. There's just so many of these, man. 66 lists, 68 lists, 69 listings. Like, it's just really hard to find any budge into the market, no matter how meta relevant, how played these cards are. Going into the XRs, our XSRs are also nice and respectable. Hardened Jabs for 20 is really good. Destined Information Success for 12 is really good. This is a nice alternative if you don't want to pay $80 for the freaking buy a box ones. And then after that, it's kind of just, you know, 1.3s are $20, Heat Waves are $30, Ice Storms are $30, Dark Shadows are $30. You know, these are all just kind of like the prices that we've come to expect from really strong cards like this. 18 are Requesting Assistance is not terrible, but still way more than I'd personally pay for that. I got all of mine for like $5, and I don't know if I'd ever pay more than like 8 or 9, really. Latent skills have really calmed down. The erases are still out of control randomly. It can't be fixed is chilling at 15 still. That's still a really good price for that one, guys. That's just such a staple card, man. I mean, maybe I'm a little biased, but fantastic pickup there. Passing the Torch for 17 is a little expensive, but again, this is Passing the Torch we're talking about here, right? It's a starter deck XR. It's one of the most played cards in the game, and it's just really crucial one to get a hold of those XR copies of if you're trying to foil out that deck, you know, on a couple of fairly relevant symbols, let's just say. Same thing for Self-Sacrifice. This is really basic staple stuff for this symbol spread. Regen for $8 is not bad either. Same for Chop. These are also kind of in like staple-ish territory. Signature Rights are super duper cheap, man. I remember when these got bought out. That was a crazy week, man. XR lineages are crazy expensive, which is weird because you could just buy the Gen Con one. Super duper strange there. Specialist is $9, which is also pretty respectable. Again, great alternative to the RLE if you can't afford that. Tight-lipped super expensive, man. Again, it's in that staple territory, especially as like a zero diff. Like, it's just super duper zero diff, like really staple zero diffs in this game always have a habit of going like nuclear. That's why I talk about basic trading and easily excited every week, because it feels like those are just on the brink of those buyouts any day now. And then from there on out, we kind of just have our like respectable $10 kind of staples across the board here. Our respectable like $5 XRs here and there. Really nothing wild here. These are all like really decent prices. Set 1 actually holds like a pretty solid chunk of value across a solid spread of its XRs, I should say, just because so many of them still receive quite a heavy amount of play. Even as, you know, we go set by set, right? Like set 1 is just like I mean, Release will just always see play, right? Like Self-Assured will just always see play. Someone with Style will always see play. Irrefutable will always see play. Gotcha will always see play, right? Jolt will never not see play until the day it gets banned. Jolt will be crazy loaded up index, crazy sleeved card. And that just goes to say for the majority of set 1, there's just a ton of really nice staple pieces in here, and it keeps the XR value for this set reasonable. You know, it's not like the 2 or 3 pages of like 20-cent ones that we saw in set 2 and set 3. We're almost on the last cards here, and we're still seeing $2, $3, $4, which, you know, again, in the grand scheme of things, it's not crazy prices. But when you compare it to like the back pages of the other sets, it is still pretty good to see. So again, if you need any of these, they're still really solid pickups, and it makes opening set 1 feel a little less bad. And there you have it, guys. That kind of wraps up our little market watch for this week. Again, another reasonably cold week in the market. Things really haven't been too crazy lately. There's like noteworthy stuff every week, but not like insane buyouts on a crazy level, which is good for the game, but also I would like to see the value of the cards in the secondary market be a little greater. It is pretty disappointing to see these $5 secret rares, these 20-cent, 99-cent ultra rares left and right. So hopefully going forward, that's something I really like to see the game improve upon. I'm not sure how they do that. I am just a guy who reads numbers off a TCG player. I don't really know much more than that. That is a problem for the really intelligent guys that make the big bucks at Jasco to figure out. And that's going to wrap it up for this week, guys. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, I would love if you could head down to the comment section and leave me some feedback and hit the like or dislike button based on how you felt about the video. And if you want more MHA CCG content, of course, the subscribe button is going to let me put all of my stuff into your newsfeed. And if you want to go an extra mile, the join button is going to let you become a channel member, granting you exclusive emotes and badges and things like that when I stream, as well as get you in a private channel on my Discord where you can chat with me a ton. And if you really want to go the extra mile, you can check out my Patreon. I've got tons of tiers on there, ranging from just a simple tip tier all the way to being able to commission certain videos from me on a monthly basis based on games you'd like me to commentate or characters you'd like me to make some spotlight videos on. There's tons of cool stuff there, and I'd love if you wanted to check it out. The links for all of that are going to be in the description and in the pinned comments below. That's going to be all the time I've got for today though, guys. Thanks so much just for making it to the end of this video above all else, and I really hope I can see you in the next one.